Welcome to Unbiased and on the Fence for the Friday Night Lovestream. This is a special broadcast. We're going to be having DollyDayDream's BQH session air tonight, so we might have some visitors over from the UK from her channel, and we welcome them. I do want to show this picture, this orb. I know a lot of us are really in the orbs, but Tapper777 was able to take Dolly's orb picture and slow it down. And there's more of this on her channel if you want to check it out. I know Eileen and Michelle Wolf knows about her channel, but her link is down in the description box below. So please feel free to hang out. I don't know if she's going to be able to stay up late. She's feeling pretty worn out after yesterday's BQH session, but hopefully she'll hop into the chat and maybe she'll chime in on some of what you hear tonight. I'll let you guys listen to it and enjoy. And we'll see you guys at the end. Do you have any sensations?
I feel like a butterfly.
Mm-hmm. Are you flying?
I was flying. It felt like, at first, it felt like in space.
Mm-hmm.
But just some sort of big light that was trailing off me, I think.
No, sort of like pixie dust.
Sort of, yeah, like a comet.
Right.
But like different lights, but it was dark.
Mm-hmm.
And then coming into blue, then coming to what felt like another planet. And it was very green, and I just felt like I had wings, a bit like not that they had wings, the Avatar movie, you know, where they lived in the big tree.
Exactly, yeah.
Sort of, I couldn't see my body, but I just knew I had wings.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel any other beings around you?
Yeah.
What do they feel like?
White. Just peaceful.
Do you see
I
anything
just felt
around
like
you?
I was sinking down then, so I don't know. Just a lot of green.
Are you able to look down at your body?
No, I can't really see it. But I know I'm there.
Are you able to hold your hands out in front of you? Do you have hands?
No, I don't think I have hands.
So you're like a point of consciousness right now?
Yeah, I think so.
Like an orb?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're moving or floating anywhere? Or stationary?
I feel like I'm hovering.
Mm-hmm. Does,
Um,
does it seem
just
like you're
look.
above the ground?
Yeah,
It's very
yeah.
green.
And it's gone to blue now.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel drawn in any particular direction?
No, just sort of as if I'm in the middle.
Mm-hmm. What
Um,
What do you see above you? Is there sky or?
just the feeling of vastness
Mm-hmm.
or stars.
Mm-hmm.
Like dark, but it's light
Mm-hmm.
because it's not really dark.
Right.
It's
And you
like a
see.
floaty feeling.
Right. Do you feel any sensations in your body, your physical form?
Um, what me myself here now?
Mm-hmm. Like tingling or
My,
anything?
yeah, in my hands,
Mm-hmm.
fingers.
Let's imagine that there's a pillar of golden rainbow light shining down on you
Hmm.
and just energizing you, penetrating through all of your cells and creating this connection with Source. And just let it wash over you and really give you the peace and relaxation. And it's a blinding light, so all you can see is this really bright light. And then we're going to allow that light to fade away and see if anything comes into view as this light fades. Just take a moment and observe. See if you have any knowings or if you see or hear anything.
A little girl.
Mm-hmm. What does she look like?
She looks like she looks like she's flying
Mm-hmm.
with her arms at her side, a little bit out.
Mm-hmm. Does she have
Um,
wings?
mm, I don't know if she has wings, but she just looks like she's, like a superhero would when they put their hands at the side,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't have wings, they just fly.
Right.
Just a bit like that.
How is she dressed?
Um, she's got a coat on, like a duffel coat. Um, a dress, white socks,
Mm-hmm.
red shoes, um, a bobbed haircut.
Mm-hmm. Does she notice you?
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. How old does she look like she is?
Mm, about 5.
Mm-hmm.
But I get the feeling she's from war times.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know which world war, but that sort of the clothes are not now.
Right. Let's see if you can look into her eyes and see if she looks familiar to you. You feel anything familiar about this little girl?
I'm getting my nana.
Mm-hmm.
Big blue eyes.
Mm-hmm.
She's smiling.
Mm-hmm. Are you able to interact with her? Ask her who she is?
Yeah, she said it's Annie.
Mm-hmm.
My nana was called Anne.
Oh, okay. Is she going to be your guide for your session?
I think so.
Very nice. Let's see what she has to show you.
Yeah.
Let's see
She's
if she,
waving.
mm-hmm. Let's see where she wants to take you, what she wants to show you. You can float along and follow her.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably wanting to let you know she's okay. She's still
Mm-hmm.
around. And she loves you. Are you able to take her hand?
Yeah.
Let's take her hand and see if she has anywhere she wants to lead you, anything she wants to show you.
She's showing me clouds.
Mm-hmm. Are you floating above them?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a beautiful, peaceful place.
I think she's taking me to a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's high up because the clouds are
Mm-hmm.
around the top of it.
Do you recognize this mountain?
No.
So the peak is above the clouds?
Yeah.
And what does it look like? Does it have snow on it?
No.
Is
Trying
it,
to get a better look at it.
mm-hmm. Is
It's
it a
quite
rocky
rocky.
mountain? Okay.
Yeah. Quite jaggy.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's quite big. I can't see the, the sort of ground.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going over it. It's like a point.
Mm-hmm.
It looks quite scaly.
Mm-hmm. Is she going to the mountain peak or is she passing it?
I think we're going over the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
But now it seems like the top of a forest
Mm-hmm.
with snow.
Mm-hmm.
Like pine trees, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But just lots and lots and lots. Just a really big forest.
Mm-hmm. Trees as far as you can see?
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
like everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no, I can't even see any floor.
Mm-hmm. Just a canopy of trees.
Yeah, now I'm looking a bit. Just it's just trees everywhere. It's just green.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any
I know
feelings up there?
there's land down there and there's water, but it's from above. It just looks like when you can just see the canopy of trees
Mm-hmm.
but there is land, but it just looks like it's just green.
Does it look like Earth?
Yeah, but maybe before,
Mm-hmm.
as in before we chopped a lot of things back and
Mm-hmm.
built stuff.
Right.
I can see water, a little bit of water coming down. Yeah,
Is,
there's like this fields.
mm-hmm. Is there any sun in the sky?
Mm, the minute it feels like I'm flying at night,
Mm-hmm.
but I can still see.
Does it seem like it's lit by the moonlight?
Mm, no, not the moon.
You're just able to see really well?
Yeah, coming down. Just seems dark, but not fright. Not in a scary way. Just.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Do you notice any other sensations like smells or the feeling of wind or anything?
no, seems very still.
Mm-hmm. Peaceful?
Yeah, like it's not cold, it's not warm. It's just sort of nice.
Right. Are you still holding the little girl's hand?
No,
Is she there around you?
I think she's gone.
Mm-hmm. As you look around, is there any area you feel drawn to?
In the sky.
Mm-hmm. Is there clouds in the
See,
sky?
there's like a pattern,
Mm-hmm.
like waveforms.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's float upward towards these clouds, towards these patterns of clouds. We're just going to move up and up and up, closer and closer to these clouds.
They
And you're
look
going to,
like they look like because I can hear rain now. So I don't know if that's outside, but they look like when a raindrop hits a puddle
mm-hmm.
and it ripples out
Mm-hmm.
and you get those rings.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like lots of raindrops in the sky. So there's lots of ripples and circles going up over circles.
Mm-hmm.
It looks a bit like that.
It's beautiful. Let's see if we can pass through these clouds, through these ripples of clouds. Move through them. See yourself going into the clouds and coming out on the other side. And let's see what it looks like when you pass through. Maybe they're a portal to somewhere else.
And you're going through, now they look like hexagons with like blue electric around the sides.
Mm.
And it sort of sticks to you when you fly out.
Mm.
But it just falls away, so.
What does it look like above the clouds where you come out?
Like space.
Mm-hmm. Can you look down and see the clouds below?
It's just like a fuzzy white fog,
Mm-hmm.
but it's moving.
Mm-hmm.
A bit like, well, not a fog, like energy waves.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's different colours in it. Like it's radiating off where I've just come from.
Mm-hmm. Do you see anything in space that catches your attention as you look around?
Just bits of lights.
Are they moving?
Like it's dark, but there's blues, red, gold. It's moving in front of me now. Gold, blue.
Are they going the same direction?
They're sort of swirling at the minute.
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels like I'm going down a tunnel now.
That's
Blue and
wonderful.
red and gold.
Yeah, let's just go with that. Let's go with that feeling of going down this tunnel. Let's see where it takes you. Just go with the flow.
It's very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of blue and red.
Mm-hmm.
And when it mixes, it goes a bit violet, but there's gold in it as well.
Mm-hmm. Does it seem like a winding tunnel or a straight tunnel?
Now like a swirling, winding one.
Mm-hmm.
Slow though.
Yeah, that's very good. Let's just keep traveling through this and see where it takes us. Just really enjoy the feeling of the freedom.
Like a spiral.
Mm-hmm. Let's become one with this and see yourself as a point of light traveling through it along with the other points of light.
Now it's moving faster now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like warp speed.
Very
Because it's
good.
not swirling now, it's going, straight down.
Mm-hmm.
But it's changed. It's sort of little squares
Mm-hmm.
all around.
Almost like pixels.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just millions.
It's still colorful.
Now it's like it's dark, but the pixels are like they're not white. They're just you could just tell they're different from
Mm-hmm.
the other.
Very good. Just keep moving with it and see if anything changes. Just observe. Take note of any sensations you have in your physical body, as well as any sounds or anything you see. Let's see where this leads.
It's moving away now.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like the night sky.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I can start seeing stars.
Mm-hmm. Does it feel like you're above a planet, or does it feel like you're surrounded by stars?
Maybe a planet.
Do you feel the presence of anyone around you?
Just seems older.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm looking around, I think from ground level now it looks like just stonework.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a city.
Are you able to look down and see if you have a body yet?
No. If I look down, it still looks like light.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a body, I just don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's move through the stone city and let's see what stands out to you. Just describe what you see in the city. Is it in ruins, or does it look like it's in the old times but in good condition? Does it feel inhabited?
Yeah, but I've got the feeling like I can't see properly now. I've just got the feeling it's a bit like built up as if, like the pyramids were
Mm-hmm.
stone upon stone. Like when you look at them now, they're no, how would you explain it? Like steps.
Mm-hmm.
This is very, very big. It's a bit like a canyon, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's been made.
What color are these rocks?
Earth coloured,
Mm-hmm.
no browns. But it doesn't feel like there's anyone here.
Mm-hmm.
Feels a bit deserty, actually.
Mm-hmm.
A bit rocky.
Are you able to move to the top of any of these structures you see? See if they go to a point or if they're flat. What do they look like on top?
No, they haven't got a point. I think they're flat.
Mm-hmm.
A bit like columns, but square.
Mm-hmm. Does it seem like they have an inside to them?
Mm, no.
Feels like they're just solid stones.
Yeah, but they look like, you can tell they've been made,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know what for.
Let's see if you can move back in time and see how these structures were made. Can you see who made these structures?
Just getting a sense of flying over somewhere else now.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to be, wherever I am, it's very stony.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if you can see what they were used for. Is this a sacred place?
Yeah, I feel like it. Yeah, for celebration.
Mm-hmm.
Seem like it looks like above a lot of people down below now. They come together to this place,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't live at this place.
What kind of energy do you feel coming from this place?
Peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it's where a lot of people go,
Mm-hmm.
but not the same people. All different, as if they come here to celebrate something.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if we can take a closer look at the people. What types of people do you see? Do they look human?
Um, Trying to go down. We can't see them.
You just know they're
Like,
there.
yeah, but they're just all different.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a knowing of something that happened.
Mm-hmm. See if you can tap into the energy of what happened and get an idea of what they're celebrating.
I just got the feeling of I just saw sort of like a sphere of
Mm-hmm.
light that they were looking at,
Mm-hmm.
like on one of the walls. So I think they were celebrating light.
Mm-hmm. How big is this sphere?
Pretty big, but
Mm-hmm.
now I'm looking from below. It looks like giant vases,
Mm-hmm.
one on each side, um, with flames in them,
Mm-hmm.
and then the disc is above. A bit like a, what would you call it? A bit like a plate.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a something they worship,
Mm-hmm.
but it's coming across as the light because the coming off it is bright white light.
So it emits its own light. It's putting out its own light.
Yeah, I think the what they're looking at is isn't the actual thing. It's just an ornament of it,
Oh, okay.
not a statue, but
Just something for them to remember and invent by.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the things around it are very huge.
Mm-hmm. What do they look like?
Well, the two vases look like gold,
Mm-hmm.
but very big. But they've got flames coming out
Mm-hmm.
because it's dark, um, and it feels warm.
Mm-hmm.
There's music.
What does it sound like?
It's like a gentle,
Like peaceful music?
yeah, like a meditating music.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like it's done in the evening
Mm-hmm.
when everyone's done their whatever they've been doing.
Mm-hmm. What is this? What does this plate shape look like it's made out of?
mm, like a metal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's silver because it's so bright. It's not gold.
Mm-hmm. Does it seem like some type of craft, maybe?
No, it seems more like a symbol, I think.
Mm-hmm. So there's no people in it?
No, I don't know if it's giving them something. It's
Mm-hmm.
like strands. It's like a disc, but it's like strands of light, but it's in a disc shape.
Mm.
But on the wall of the stone wall, as if that's where a bit like is it a gong? Is it a
Mm.
gong? A gong.
Yeah.
It's not a gong though, but as if it was something like that.
Mm-hmm.
As if it was something you looked at to center yourself
Right.
before the meditation started.
Mm-hmm.
So like you were sort of all looking at the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the silver feeling I'm getting was the light coming off it was quite calming. And now I'm getting it when they were sat there were strands of light going to everybody's head. So I think they were in a trance state, but a nice feeling. So everyone was in the same state of being.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if you can look at it and experience that right now for yourself.
I was. I was like breathing it in, and that's why I was like, just feels very pure.
Mm-hmm.
Just very calming.
Mm-hmm.
Something like if you was doing that and you'd had a bit of a hectic day, it's going to calm you down.
Let's see if you can enjoy this a little longer and see if it pulls you in, or perhaps you can move through it like a portal. Or just observe it and relax.
And it's like everyone that's sat there, when that stream of light connects, it connects to the next person to them.
Mm-hmm.
So the light's connected to them and the person next to them, like as if light comes out the side of them, so it connects to everybody.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Let's feel that connection. Feel the unity of it.
Yeah, and I'm getting everyone's in a circle.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter where anyone's sat in the circle, the light will connect to everybody. So in a funny sense, it reminds me of ley lines.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like ley lines to everybody else.
Right.
So no one's missing out on connecting if you sat within that circle.
Mm-hmm. What does this light energy feel like? Just calming?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel a connection with others as you sit there?
Yeah, I'm just getting a vision of like a web.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a violet when everyone's connected to it.
Mm-hmm. Are you able to tap into the thoughts of others that are also connected with you?
Yeah. I'm seeing like really violet-y, bluey white light.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like lines joining up and it's connections.
Mm-hmm.
It looks a bit coded.
Mm-hmm.
As if everyone remembers when everyone's connected.
Mm-hmm.
That's gone now. As if we light up more when we are connected.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we've been disconnected. It looked like a power grid.
Mm-hmm. Do these feel like other people on Earth that are connected to this with you?
And not just of Earth. I think it's everything connecting with everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it feels like it's reconnecting.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Very
energy
nice.
works better when it's all connected. It's not been at its full power.
Mm-hmm.
And now it feels like it's getting a boost.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell where the boost is coming from?
Outside. It looks like around our world, like a honeycomb. And it's all like electrical, blue.
Mm-hmm. Connecting everything.
Yeah, it's like that's connecting back up.
Mm-hmm.
Bit like Xavier out the X-Men. When he goes in the dome thing, doesn't he? He sits in it and you can hear everybody. It's like people are reconnecting with their superpowers.
Mm-hmm. Are you able to see your particular connection with your higher guides or anything? Or is everything connected through this gong sort of symbol you see?
Yeah. White light. It's very, very white.
Does it seem like the energy's flowing?
Mm, feels like it's rippling,
Mm-hmm.
pulsating,
Yeah.
like as if it can start from small and it just ripples out and it gets bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So the more people feed into it, positivity, it just ripples out. So
Gets
that
stronger.
circle, yeah, and that circle gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So it just goes out everywhere
Mm-hmm.
and like covers everything in its way.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm sort of seeing like as if I'm in space and a bit like they say the Big Bang, but it just out everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So if that light hits everywhere, it affects everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And just watching that now spread out, it's like I'm in the universe now.
Watching it expand.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
with everyone else's expansion.
Mm-hmm.
There's millions of stars just sort of moving. Like I said, I still don't feel like I've got a body, but just conscious of flying around.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like anyone else is with you?
Yeah,
Feels like the
not,
other stars or other people?
yeah. Like, I can't see anyone, but you just know you're not alone.
Mm-hmm. It's very good. Let's observe this expansion and see what happens next.
It's just another, it's like a planet, I think. Keeps sort of flickering.
What color is it?
Blue,
Mm-hmm.
turquoisey blue.
Is it glowing?
Yeah, it's sort of growing.
Mm-hmm.
A bit like if it was saying, hey, it's me.
Mm-hmm. Is it expanding towards you?
I could just sense it's there.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's let it grow and expand until it takes you over and see what happens once you're in it. Once you're in this turquoise light.
It's more lilac-y when I get up to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a lilac-y blue.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I don't know if that's me. Because I'm looking down. So it's like I can see my body, but
And what does it look like?
mm, it's like an energy form.
Mm-hmm. What color?
Lilac-y blue.
Mm-hmm.
It's changing. Bit of pink.
Mm-hmm. How does it make you feel?
Floaty.
Mm-hmm.
I think I change with the mood.
Mm-hmm.
Colour. Yeah, I've just gone a bit brighter then.
Mm-hmm. Really
So I
breathe
can
in that
communicate
bliss.
through, yeah, communicate through colour change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, breathe in the bliss and the connectedness. And really feel yourself connected. Really become one with it. Just rest and relax in that for a moment. And just observe what's happening.
In sort of a head with a beak.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a tingle on the head as well.
Mm-hmm. Does it feel like a human form with a bird head?
Yeah, sort of. Or it could be. It's either that or it's some sort of headdress.
Mm-hmm.
But over the head, I'm not quite sure if it's the head
Mm-hmm.
or headdress.
What color is this head?
Blue.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it's human. It feels like it's a headdress.
Mm-hmm. Are you able to look in the eyes?
Just getting the word eagle.
Mm-hmm.
Just feeling very Native American Indian now.
Mm-hmm. Are you able to see the rest of the body?
Can just see moccasins.
Mm-hmm.
Red and blue. Oh, it's red and blue fringing on the
Mm-hmm.
pants.
Mm-hmm.
I
What does your
think it's
surroundings
like
look like?
rocky again. No, I think it's like a medicine man.
Mm-hmm. What is he doing right now?
Booking.
Mm-hmm.
He's got it's like he's passing me is it I don't know what they're called. A talking stick?
Mm-hmm.
You pass it over for someone to talk. But you only talk when you have the stick.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he's saying it's important to talk.
Mm-hmm.
But it also looks like a scroll.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a tingle on the head.
Mm-hmm.
Tickle.
Are you able to unroll the scroll and look at it?
Yeah, it seems like it's got writing on in.
Can you recognize the writing?
No, it just looks like blue symbols. They look like light though. It's not like it's written with a pen.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like they're coming off the paper.
Mm-hmm.
Light codes.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't read it. I could just see.
Let's just observe this writing and this light code and take a mental picture of it so you can remember it later with clarity in case you'd like to reproduce it in your artwork. Just observe it.
It looks looks a bit like, you know, when you project, you get, what are them kids things called? The kids put them in your bedroom and it puts the star system on your ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Like lines and dots.
Right.
But where the lines are, that's where the light's emanating out of those lines.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like that, but on paper.
Mm-hmm. Do you get any feeling from this writing?
Yeah, it feels quite homely.
Mm-hmm.
Just a peaceful feeling again.
Mm-hmm. See if you can absorb it in. Just take it in. You don't have to understand it right now. Just allow it to project into you.
It's very happy energy.
Mm-hmm.
Like very grounded as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just makes me smile. I'm smiling.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
What
bit like
this?
that feeling when you just know.
Mm-hmm.
Now
What
I'm
do you?
sort of seeing a picture of like tree rings, you know, when you cut a tree down
Mm-hmm.
and you've got the rings,
Mm-hmm.
but again it's blue.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels ancient.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like it's still in the roots of trees.
Mm-hmm.
They know.
Mm-hmm.
Just making me laugh.
Mm-hmm. Very happy feeling with it.
Yeah, I'm getting the picture of roots rooted.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like very joyful.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to burst out laughing.
Very good.
Like happy.
Yeah. Just breathe in that joy. Allow yourself to feel it. It's awesome. Just breathe it in, let it energize all of your cells and make them all feel happy and really pull that feeling in that you're getting. Enjoy the liberation you feel being connected in with that.
It's like if people knew they could feel that way. They'd want to stop some of the things they're doing.
Mm-hmm. So it's always available.
Yeah, it's all within.
Mm-hmm. Do you see anyone else around you? Is the medicine man still there?
Now I'm seeing that ripple effect again in
Mm-hmm.
water. Just moving.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like the flower of life,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like water.
Are you able to go within the ripples? Within the flower of life?
Yeah, it just feels like an abyss,
Mm-hmm.
dark, but it's a blue light again, but dark on the outside
Mm-hmm.
and bluer in the middle. But it's tranquil.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if you can move towards this blue part that's in the middle.
Mhm.
Just move towards it. Just move closer and closer. What does it feel like as you move towards this light?
Just calming.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I'm looking at a planet now or something. Something's going past me.
Mm-hmm.
Not big, huge.
And what do you see?
Oh no, I think I'm underwater.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like. Feels like I'm in a bubble underwater. It looks like I'm going past ancient ruins or something.
Mm-hmm.
Some sort of. I don't know, it's like it's got stuff all over it.
Mm-hmm.
Like something covering it.
And what does that look like?
Can't see properly because I think it's deep down.
Mm-hmm. So it's like because it's underwater, it's covered with like a moss or something, or
Yeah,
algae.
like mossy. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
could be a pyramid.
Yeah.
Feels like a pyramid.
Mm-hmm. Does this feel like Earth?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
But very, very deep down. I'm going up now, so. mm, so
Does it feel
going
like
up.
it could be the Mediterranean Sea, or is it the ocean?
I feel cold, so it's very, very deep down.
Mm-hmm. Does this place feel familiar to you?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
actually, it's not a pyramid. It's like a. It looks like a long, a bit like a submarine, but not a submarine.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit more rounded. Oh, it's metal.
Mm. Are you able to go inside of it?
But I'm right outside of it, and I think I'm inside. I think it's very dark because it's been here a long time.
Mm-hmm.
In a tunnel.
Mm-hmm. Let's brighten it up so you can see a little bit better. See if it brings things into vision a little bit better.
I'm just getting the feeling it's some sort of vessel.
Mm-hmm. Does it feel like wreckage?
Hmm. Yeah, because there's nobody in it.
Mm-hmm. Does it seem like it's meant to be underwater?
No,
Mm-hmm.
it's a bit pixely like before.
Mm-hmm.
The actual metal, but it hasn't got any driving things in it or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a sausage shape.
Mm-hmm. Could it be like a cigar-shaped craft, maybe under the water?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. There doesn't seem to be any, not anything you'd think you were driving with or anything.
Mm-hmm.
As if it's moving away from it now.
Mm-hmm.
It's going back the way it was before, when it was all pixelated, coming out of a tunnel. It's just all going into each other now.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge.
Like how big? The size of a stadium or a city? Or
What I'm looking at now is, oh, I can't even say.
mm-hmm.
It's big, but no, it's not meant to be under the sea.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if we can move back in time and see this vessel in its natural habitat. Are you able to move back and see what it used to look like when it was operational?
Silver,
Mm-hmm. Are
very,
you able to?
very shiny.
Mm, are you able to see the type of beings that used to be inside?
I'm just getting the word like a flying whale.
Mm-hmm. But it was constructed, right? It wasn't like an animal.
No, it's not an animal. It's just a bit like a funny shape.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Yeah, I think there was beans.
Mm-hmm.
There was two blue beans,
Mm-hmm.
humanoid,
Mm-hmm.
but blue. But I don't think they were driving it with what would you call it? Not steering wheel, but you not.
Maybe it was telepathically controlled. You don't see any controls to control it.
They're sat in seats. I just think it's through their own body.
Mm-hmm.
Not that the seats don't look like normal seats.
Mm-hmm.
They're sort of curved around them,
Mm-hmm.
like reclined a bit as if you move, it moves with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think they've got like something on their head, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like you said, telepathically would move
Mm-hmm.
if you wanted it to move.
Let's see if you can tell what went wrong that made this vessel get buried under the water.
I'm getting the feeling when they first made these, you had to be careful with your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as you thought it, the ship would move.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they crashed.
Oh, okay.
Though they're laughing, they're okay, but the ship isn't.
So they were able to get out?
Yeah, it's like they could move through the ship.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a feeling it's not they actually need a ship, but if they're going to other places, they do, depending on the um, terrain of that place
Mm-hmm.
for their body.
Are you able to see where they went once their vessel crashed? Were they rescued, or what feeling do you have?
They're here.
You said they're here?
Mhm.
So they never left when they crashed?
No.
Can you see how big they are compared to humans?
I think the same size.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little bit taller than the average. I don't know what the average is.
Mm-hmm. But they were blue? Blue
Yeah,
skin?
but I don't know if they, like I said before, mood change can
Oh.
they can change
Mm-hmm.
colour with the mood.
Right. See if you can get a sense of why they came here. Do they have a mission?
Just get a feeling of love.
Like maybe they're from like a wolf type tribe, humanoid tribe.
Like a feeling of love and calm. They want calmness.
Mm-hmm. So these are benevolent beings.
Yeah.
Were they sent to help humans? Maybe.
Something about water.
Mm.
Something about water. Maybe they're in the water. Maybe they. Still something about water.
Mm-hmm. Like maybe they live in the water.
Maybe or near water.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I don't think they live in water.
Mm-hmm.
I think they live near water, or they have to be near water,
Mm-hmm.
like their home.
Does it feel like their vessel can travel through space?
Yeah, I think it was collecting water because there wasn't anything in it.
Mm-hmm.
But when it crashed, it couldn't. It couldn't go back.
Mm-hmm. So maybe like a water collecting vessel then.
Mhm. To take back home.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if we can follow them back home. Where is their home? Where did they come from? Is it a watery planet?
Just getting a picture. Big blue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
Does
don't
it?
think it's watery as in like it's full of water.
Mm-hmm.
I think it looks like it is, but you go through it.
Mm-hmm. This is more like gas. Like a.
Mm, there's some form of liquid, but like uh, um, like an energy field, like a force field thing.
Mm-hmm. It's more like a plasma or something.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because looking at it now, it looks like that electrical sort of. Yeah, they
Mm-hmm.
could go through it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why they needed a ship coming from there and through it to come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you go through that to get there. It's not. I don't think where they're from is necessarily blue, but the plasma or whatever it is around it is blue.
Mm-hmm.
A bit like a force field.
Mm-hmm.
So we wouldn't be able to see
Mm-hmm.
unless we went through it.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like electric energy, like.
Are you able to move through it now? Like, will it take you somewhere else? Is it like a portal that they use to get here?
No, I think they just have to come through it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they can come through it, but others wouldn't be able to go through it unless they were with them.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if you can go with them through it, and let's see what it looks like.
It's like a city.
Mm-hmm.
It looks a bit greeny bluish, actually.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't look like Earth.
No, it looks like crystals.
Some more futuristic.
Yeah, or like the houses are crystals.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're made out of some crystal building blocks.
Mm-hmm. It's all bluish.
So it changes colour.
Mm-hmm. Are we able to move in towards the city and get a closer look?
I've just got a feeling it's a lilac-y light. Like
Mm-hmm.
their lighting's different.
Mm-hmm.
It seems darker, but it's not. It's like a lilac. You're not like seeing all the crystals lighting up. Like, do you say fluorescent? Like
Mm-hmm.
they call fluorescent lights when it's dark and they're very
Oh,
fluorescent.
neon lights?
Yeah, yeah, like a neon lilac. So
Mm-hmm.
it's dark, but it's not.
Right.
But it's a very calming light,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like that all the time.
Sounds very
It
pretty.
changes a little bit of
Yeah.
pinky, but it's not like we have day and night.
Mm-hmm.
They've got like a wave of, I don't know, like a crystal light,
Mm-hmm.
but it's very calming.
Let's move in closer and see if you can see any activity. Do you see any people or vehicles or anything moving about?
No, I just have a feeling if you want to go somewhere, you just think it and you go there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were like going to a friend's house, you just think about it.
That would be nice.
They have to know on the other side. It's like you have to be invited, but
Mm-hmm.
you can. There's not that limit that we have here. Like they could be over the other side, but you can still be like, I'm coming to see you in America, but like teleported sort of thing. You just
Mm-hmm. Just think
flip
it and go
and nip
there.
out. Yeah. So they can have friends in different sections.
Mm-hmm. Are you able to go into one of these crystal structures and see what's inside?
It seems very clean,
Mm-hmm.
bright, and slippy.
Mm-hmm.
Crystal floor. It's like it's like there's no furniture, but if you went to sit down, a chair would appear.
Mm.
Or if you like you materialising. So if you wanted to watch something, then, for instance, the TV would just appear.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it looks bare inside, but as soon as you want something to be there, it's there.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like these are a master creator race that they can just create as they need to or go as they need to.
Yeah. And obviously everyone's happy because there's no, you can just create what you want.
Mm-hmm.
but nobody's doing it with, it's all done with love, because you just, no one's above anyone. There's no, I don't know what the word is.
Hierarchy.
There's no, yeah, there's none of that.
Mm-hmm. So everyone's unified and equal?
Yeah, and no one really consumes as much as we do here because they don't need to.
Mm-hmm. So they don't have to eat? They just absorb the light or something?
I think they eat. I don't know what they eat, but they just don't consume as much as us.
Mm-hmm.
Even with they don't have material possessions because it's just there when you need it to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So people there seem to be more, I can't see them, it's more of a feeling. I think they're bald, actually, saying that. I don't know, are they bald? They seem to be, I'm getting a tingle on my finger. They just seem to be communicating to each other more, and with their friends, they do a lot more of sort of meditating, but what's the word?
It's like they communicate through telepathy?
Connecting. Yeah, well, when they go out, they're just more connected. There's more of less. They don't sort of work, but there's a lot sort of less work. There's more being with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Being with what we would call friends and family.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a group consciousness. Let's see if we can talk to them telepathically. See if you can tap into this group consciousness. It sounds like that's how they're communicating with you. Just ask the collective who they are. See if you get a response.
Yeah, it's got the word Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look like they have children the way we do. They just sort of, it's weird. They don't have family like we do. They just, as if they're single in the home, but they go out more and they communicate more.
Mm-hmm.
They don't feel the need that they have to need
Right.
a sort of partner. They're just sort of all, it's like that consciousness thing. They all know they're one, so they're all happy because everybody's sort of happy.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not looking for something to make them happy as such.
Do they seem like male and female, or do they seem androgynous? Like they're above having genders?
Yeah. Yeah, the androgyny. I can't even say the word. Yeah.
So they don't need to reproduce children because they probably don't die, I guess? They just are?
It feels like if they sort of had a child as we would perceive it, it just is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're sort of just going off your... they have relationships, but it's not necessarily like the way we do as we live together. It's just, you may have a so-called partner and maybe you link through... it sounds weird. You may be at one time a bit more sort of masculine, and the other one might be a bit more female at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But then in another time, because I feel they live quite long, it might swap over.
Mm-hmm. Does it feel like
sort
they
of
have different
feeling.
ages?
Mm, mm, not really.
Sort of equal in age and everything?
Yeah, as if they just change with partners, as weird as that sounds.
Hmm.
Not in a funny way, just,
So they're very much still individuals with individual
yeah,
wants and needs, but they're more satisfied.
yeah,
No jealousy and things like that.
no. Like if they part, some stay together, but if they do part their relationship, it's not a big thing like it is to us.
Hmm.
It may be just because they want to experience a more maybe feminine
Hmm.
relationship next time, and they swap and choose a little bit.
Hmm.
But to them, it's nothing. But to us, it's a bit like, yeah,
Right. So it's just really a different way of being for them.
yeah,
Hmm. Doesn't sound like they have the duality like we have.
no, because they connect a lot. They more sort of out there. If like we're always rushing about here, they're
Hmm.
more less time sort of doing jobs and things. Not that they're necessarily doing jobs like us, different things. They they're more out linking together with not solutions, but spending time with each other, as in a group.
Hmm.
Like I
So
said
like,
before, with the when the people were meditating on the other place that I went to,
hmm,
and they were all connected, so they have more time with sort of celebrating and um, that like they came together more in the evenings. They're more about their actual work is communicating
hmm.
and sort of I don't know, just being with yeah,
Can you feel what their connection is with our Earth planet?
feels like harmonizing energies.
Hmm. Do you feel like you had a connection with these beings, this planet, this place?
Yeah, because I feel a lot that's how I'd like things to be.
Hmm.
Like the connection of people.
So they don't experience the feeling of lack or anger or jealousy like we experience. Everything's
No,
content
because
and
they
calm,
can materialize, you know,
whatever they need.
yeah, something to do with the crystals.
Hmm.
So there's no like we would say the rat race down here of, oh, you've got this is bigger than mine and I've got a bigger car than you. Theirs is just like I don't know, this don't sort of go off like you'd think if you lived in a place like that you'd be like, oh, I'm gonna have this and I'm gonna have that, but they don't because
Everything's
we're
abundant.
not used to it. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So it's a bit like because you can sort of bring it in and you're so used to it,
Hmm.
it's not a massive thing to them. So they spend more time sort of, I'm just getting the word harmonizing
Hmm.
things with themselves as well, which
Hmm.
I think puts a sort of um, like I said before, like a ripple effect out, like a frequency.
Hmm.
So they're them being in that sort of state, um, it I don't know how I can explain this, but if they're not coming through jealousy or greed, Because if it was some humans, we'd all be like, wait, that ripple effect's going to go out, it's going to affect everything. But their ripple effect is calming because they are a calm race.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why they have a bit of a, what did I say it was before, like a force field thing around there where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Because you wouldn't want people coming in and taking over that, because they could change the ripple effect. You couldn't put a harmonised ripple out if you were all sort of wanting different things.
Mm-hmm. So they're helping us by sending this calming energy our way? Somehow?
Yeah, I think it's like just getting the word harmonising.
Mm-hmm.
Harmonising.
So it sounds like their frequency or their resonance is more unified.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what they want for other places.
Mm-hmm.
Because a bit like we do, I think they know everything affects everything, like that ripple effect.
Mm-hmm.
If we're not harmonised, it does affect them. Maybe not as much as us, but it does affect them.
Does it feel like any of them come here as humans, like incarnate to help us in that way?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what they were doing when they crashed.
Mm-hmm. So they can bring a bit of that harmony when they come to Earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why it was so big as well. Maybe it had a lot. Maybe it was a carrier.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was a carrier. But yeah. But they're not in the water, I don't think.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if you can telepathically ask this collective what your connection is with them.
I just keep getting the word to harmonise.
Mm-hmm. See if you can ask telepathically if they're responsible for the orbs that you see, the light forms.
They're saying yes, they're laughing.
Mm-hmm. See if they can show you what those light forms are doing for you.
Lifting my vibration.
Mm-hmm. So it's helping harmonize you then.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Which helps harmonise everybody else as well.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. Are they also responsible for the green light form that you saw in the woods?
No.
What can they tell you about that? Was that from another place?
It's more earthly.
Okay.
He said it's more earthly because it was green.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still doing what they're doing, but just in a different way.
Mm-hmm. Well,
But not from them.
did you manifest it? Or was it a different set of beings that are earthbound?
Elemental.
Mm. So earthly elementals?
Nature.
Nature. Mm-hmm.
Saying lots of light forms.
Mm-hmm. Do your guides come from this place?
They're saying yes.
Mm-hmm. So they help you here on Earth all the time?
Yeah.
How can you better connect with them while you're here?
I'm saying meditate.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying follow what I'm already doing.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying just follow your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And it will lead you where you need to go.
And that's what you've been doing, so you're on the right
Mm-hmm.
track there. Let's see if I can give you information about the feeling of the blob you had in your room as a child. What was that feeling?
They were saying it was them as an orb. That's why as a child I just sensed it had no arms and legs.
Mm-hmm. So was it like an
So
elemental, or?
they were saying it's like when they're sending an energy, that's the form it comes in.
Mm-hmm. So it was to harmonize you as a human? Or?
I think it was to help me see there was something there.
Mm-hmm. So it was a positive thing.
Yeah, but I think as a child I thought well, the dark plays tricks on you, doesn't it? When you're younger,
Mm-hmm.
you watch films that scare you and things, and then you don't want to come out from under the blanket.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think at that time I wouldn't have been able to see it because I just sensed
Mm-hmm.
there was something there. Like I have done that for a long time. It's only now that I've started seeing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when you're younger, if you fear something, it sort of doesn't come in properly
Mm-hmm.
because you're resisting.
Let's see if they can give you any insight into the reoccurring dream of being in a circle where you were being spoken to. What were they trying to tell you?
But they were trying to tell me then,
Mm-hmm.
but in a way that it wouldn't be scary.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at the time of what I remember, they all look like E.T. out of the film E.T.
Mm-hmm.
because I loved E.T.
Mm-hmm. So they're delivering a message to you in a way that wouldn't scare you or would be familiar to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you had the dream with the woman that appeared with the antenna and then the birds, can they give you any insight as to what that was about?
Well, as I said before, they like to communicate
Mm-hmm.
with each other where they're from. A lot more linking. Like not speaking, like telepathy. They come through us that way as well.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be in the right heart space as well.
Is that why they want you to meditate more?
Yeah, and not be in fear, like just um, still be in awe and wonderment when they do come.
Mm-hmm.
So when they've been coming in a lot lately, it's because I've been still like, oh wow. Even though I'm seeing them now, it's still like that childlike spirit,
Mm-hmm.
open-mindedness, really.
Mm-hmm. Makes you more receptive to their
Yeah,
messages. Mm-hmm.
because the more I see it, the more I'm like, oh wow, wow. Like you want to communicate, which makes you want to go and meditate because you want to find more out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just getting like a bright blue light now, like, yay. Violet light.
So if you
Like they're
continue down
saying,
this
like,
path,
she's got it.
yeah. So as you continue down this road you're on, you'll have more and more experiences like this.
Yeah.
So they're just slowly opening you up to more experiences.
Yeah. They're saying everything from the past has led to now. So being in my situation at the minute has helped me to communicate more because I'm not getting sort of distracted by other things. And it's made me want to seek more and actually realise there's more to us than meets the eye. And that I think we all definitely have individual gifts or talents that are not just physical. Like I've always said on my channel, it's just because you can't see something doesn't mean it's not there. And we're starting to pick up these hidden things that have been buried. I don't know if this is all the stuff of us saying buried stuff before, but we're starting to sort of like dust it away now and realise that when you seek within with no fear, maybe you'll pick up the sort of gifts you've got. And I think the more you sort of focus on that, the more stronger it will be. And I think some people can have all of them, a few of them, or one of them, or better at one than another.
Right.
But it's not that. I've tried to say before, don't look at people like, oh wow, look what you're doing, because everybody can do it. And that's what people have got to understand, but they do have to let go of the old programming.
The fear really holds us back, doesn't it?
Yeah. And a lot of people, like I've always said, and a lot of people have said, a lot of people poo-hoo things, but they don't actually go and do the research. And I've noticed more and more people now, especially with what, this community of, there's so many truthing communities out there, but because we're showing things and things are showing up and we're catching them on camera, because I think technology has something to do with like the plasma light showing up, that's why we couldn't see it before. Like we've always felt something was there, but because of the technology, which I actually think is old technology, I don't think it's new, with cameras and things, it's picking up these light forms. But it is starting to prove to people now, like, we are the disclosure. Because the more you seek, the more you'll see, but it's up to you whether you want to do that or not.
What does the bird symbolize? They keep showing you birds in different ways.
Yeah, I get a lot of the
Like blue
phoenix.
phoenix.
And I actually had a conversation with someone today where I received a book on a yogi and a book on, I can't remember what his name is, someone Cohen, the guy who was an author who wrote the Sherlock Holmes books. He was actually a psychic.
Oh, okay.
And they don't really talk about that, but the weird thing was, when a friend of mine just looked into something, he was actually in and out of a Masonic lodge called the Phoenix.
Wow.
And he was sort of came in and out at different times, and I thought, that is really strange, because the psychic thing I'm sort of delving into a bit. I'm feeling pushed that way. But that was interesting. But I also feel it's very much like a message of there's a lot of chaos going on at the minute, and you know, in the 3D realm, and from the ashes the phoenix rises. So you know, it's I just think we have to go through a lot of change, and some people aren't going to like it, but we need change.
So the blue phoenix, is that representing a new era because it's blue?
Yeah, yeah. Because I think it's normally red, isn't it? I don't know. But this one's like, the picture I got in my head the other day through meditation was very blue. Do you know when blue has it's blue, but in the centre it's bright white, but it's blue. That makes sense. But it also has bits of lilac, electrical sort of, I don't know, just really pretty. And it was a female, and her eyes were very big and very, very, very bright white, but the bright white eyes were very, very calming as well, very just like, yeah, just very, like, keep using that word, wow.
So it wasn't scary at all?
No, and it was a bit like, it looked like a phoenix, but it sort of came from an energy wave and then sort of morphed into a, you know, you could tell it the way it was moving, it was a bird, like a flame. But it was a phoenix, it was female. Yeah.
What was the name Nazu that you got?
That's the name I asked in. I was doing a meditation the other day and I just got Nazu.
Can you tell you what that represents?
I think it could be one of these beings. But I also get in. Yeah, but I also get that sort of. After that, it was that Palladian. But I always associate Palladium with blue, so with me anyway, I always see it as a blue, that blue colour. Like some people say, there's beings called, is it the avians? Bird race.
The avians. There's blue avians.
Yeah. So it could be.
Let's ask about your artwork and how that can help activate people, or see if they can give you any insights into how your artwork can help people.
They're saying a lot of my artwork is women's faces, like quite angelic. Some of them a bit, I don't know. They just come in. It's always women, but they're saying that's because there's a lot more nurturing energy needed. And anybody who is, because we are creators, that's what we're here to do. Any form of my work, your work, anybody else's, and it doesn't just mean paintings or anything creative. When you're in that high energy goes into your work. So people might not think they're getting something. Like, they could like your picture, say for instance, if it's a painting and they want to buy it, but they're getting a lot more than they know from that picture. It's like got hidden sort of frequencies in it.
It's helping bring in the divine feminine energy.
Yeah, especially my work with the women's faces, but anybody that's creating anything that they love, whatever it is, even someone's channel, if they're doing it from a heart space, it's like sending vibrations to people, codes, whatever. So it is a bit like an energy exchange when you're receiving something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you say, oh, I love that piece of work, or like when you receive it off someone, I can feel that because you're feeling somebody's energy off it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have that energy, you know, in your household or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So
It sort of becomes a portal to bring in that
yeah,
energy.
and then the energy you're doing when you're making whatever it is that you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
putting it together, whatever it is, it's sort of all that energy's going out everywhere.
And then it's like the piece of art continues to put it out.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
but then there's been also, I think you do manifest through creating, because there's a picture I did a while back, um, with a woman that sort of looks a bit like me when I look at it now, and I was painting. I thought they were snowflakes and snow, but when I
Mm-hmm.
look back, it's a woman with orbs around her and blue patterned flowers.
Mm.
So when I look back, it's a bit like, and the orbs on the picture are bright white, and then you've got like the blue sort of flower patterns in the background.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm drawing and painting. To me, it's like a form of meditation. So I'm sort of bringing through what I'm, like a message.
Mm-hmm. Because you're connecting through your creativity.
Yeah, and I've always said that. Like, I also do that thing where, is it called automatic writing?
Mm-hmm.
Where sometimes I ask something and then it just starts flowing, and it's just like as if someone else is answering um, things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think sometimes when people think of meditation, like you've got to sit down and cross your legs, which I'm getting into more now. But there's all sorts. There's walking meditation. There's meditation through art, because you're sort of not thinking about other thoughts. You're sort of in that space at the time. You're aware. Um, like when I go out in nature, I'm not aware of the normal things everyone would be looking at, you know, like looking at the phone, blah, blah, blah,
Mm-hmm.
blah, blah. I'm sort of listening to like the birds singing, or looking at flowers that have come up and stuff like that. And that to me is a form of meditation,
Mm-hmm.
because you're soaking up the environment around you instead of sort of the 3D. If you look at people today, they're just constantly on the phone like cyborgs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But
And
you're
no
out
one's,
loving nature and sending that loving energy.
yeah, even walking down my street, I'm trying to look at the clouds. I'm trying to look at, like, today I had to go somewhere and I was just looking. I've always said this on my channel. I was looking at the pavements, and there just seems to be more moss and weeds growing everywhere, even though it's still growth. So to me, that's a message of nature saying, you know, mankind has put like a this layer of tarmac, but guess what? I can still come through it.
Mm-hmm.
I still come back. Sort of like you get messages in nature all the time. You get messages from everywhere all the time. It's just people don't sort of see them as messages. Synchronicities
Mm-hmm.
all the time. And it's amazing. And the more I'm looking about, and the more people I'm coming across, your channel, other people's channels, people in chat, you know, people who don't really look in it that we might call trolls, and certain people are just people who don't understand. But you can't deny it when you're connecting through, I'd say, the quantum computer now, which is the internet,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone talking about the same thing. And that's why a lot of people get scared saying, oh, it's AI, but we need the internet. This is like 3D quantum computer, but we also have a quantum field out there.
So with your artwork, there's nothing you need to sort of practice. You're already doing it. You're just bringing it in, creatively like you should.
Yeah, I'm just going with the flow of because I laugh in saying she's never organised, but that's just the way she does it, because as soon as something comes in, I have to do it.
It's heart driven, right? Like they were saying earlier.
Yeah, as soon as an idea pops in, it's like, oh my God, I've got to do it. Like, I'll leave that bit now, I'll do that. And like, maybe that's why it takes me ages to get things out, but it has to be done to see if it sort of, I don't know, it gives me another piece of energy again. So I'm like, I don't know, do this one.
Right.
But they are saying you need to sort of organise yourself so you can bring it in,
Be more productive with it.
Yeah, into the new year. I feel that's a massive thing into the new year of bringing a sort of business in with, not quite sure yet, but with the sort of art side of things, selling but other things to help people as well. Not sure yet, but I'm just gonna go with the flow.
Very good.
Maybe workshops, I don't know.
It'll probably come to you in meditation.
Yeah, and like I've said on my channel, I've always said at the beginning when I first started, I didn't know what I was doing, but if it affects one person and that one person affects another person, it's a domino effect. So when people think they're out there thinking, well, who am I? I'm not even on YouTube. I'm not even doing this. Just being you, your true authentic self, and trying to work on yourself to be a better person and more loving. If you affect someone and that affects someone, that's how it starts.
Like the ripples you saw earlier.
Yeah. It's a ripple effect. So it's a bit of a message to say to people, just because you may only think it's only you as one person, that's something anyway. So, yeah, the ripple effect.
I like that. And you've got that several times in this session. Let's see if they can scan your body for you, both your spiritual and physical body, to see if there's any blockages or any healing you need. And let's just let them do what they want to do as far as helping you out with anything.
Yeah, it's communication. But I know that anyway. I've had a knowing of even with people know I always say this, even with my mum, there's a lot of things I look back now in the past and I think my mum's a great person. She's lovely, but she's quite programmed in things from my nana because they were programmed. So she always has this thing about I should be like her and why are you not doing it this way, and that's sort of like
sort of controlling.
Yeah, she's very controlling in that way. She's lovely, but she's got that thing from my nana, and then she probably got it from her mum, and that how they were back in the day. So I don't blame her for it. I try to sort of tell her, but maybe I go about it the wrong way sometimes. I have been angry at her in the past, and I'm trying to work through that because we go at loggerheads, and sometimes, like, if she's on the phone, I have to put the phone down because she has that energy that it just clashes with me because she's getting a little bit of it now, but she thinks too much about things, and I might more go with the flow, and she's like, well, why are you not doing this, and why wouldn't you do this first? And I'm like, just chill out. But I know I need to communicate with her. It's like she knows, but it's that whole thing with everybody at the minute. It's like she knows, but she's finding it very hard to deprogram herself, because when it's been ingrained in you that long, it's very hard to. It just takes
automatic.
time. Yeah, and I know that's with me. With still a few things that I'm trying to let go of and cut the cords, because sometimes we go back into the 3D, and I think somebody said once about, oh no, you're always flying high, and I said, no, I don't think you are, because there's a lot that we're looking at, and 3D will drag you back down again. And it's just going back to that space. You can go within and bring yourself, but there are things that, it's like we're always spiraling up, but as we're climbing up we get little bumps to remind us. Because I think if it was all like flatlining, it'd be pretty boring anyway. So we are all spiraling up, but we get a few bumps on the way just to remind us of, are you being aware of what you're doing, or do we need to smack you on the head even harder? So I think once something starts coming in with sort of bringing my life together more with my situations with certain things, that when my mum can see me shining a bit more and happy, because I am happy, but the job that I'm sort of wanting to bring in, my mother and some other people out there that we would call muggles do not see it as a normal job. Like a desk job. And it's like, no, I can't do that. But a lot of people don't understand. They try to make out like, a creative side of a job isn't a real job, but it is.
Absolutely.
I mean, any job is. It's just if your heart sings when you're doing it. So I feel a lot of communication. Even with my eldest, there's a lot of communication coming in. But my son did actually say today, my eldest, who's nearly 20, I was meditating this morning. This might make you laugh. And I think I was talking out loud in my bedroom, and he heard me, and I thought he sniggered outside the door because I could hear him. And as he came up, I said, don't snigger, I said, because I'm meditating. And I said, you should try it. And he went, I wasn't sniggering, Mum, I was sneezing. I think you should do whatever makes you happy. I said, oh, okay. So I thought, oh, yeah, fine. Because he's actually seen the films of the orbs. And he's a bit like, what is that, Mum? Like, what is it? I think he's a bit like scared, but this is going to sound really funny to some people. The other day, I had a thought, I'm going to have to ask him that we're going to sit down at weekend and watch Star Wars. Because it's one of my favourite films, and I didn't mention it to him. And that day, this is where manifestation's coming in more and more, he came to me and said, oh, Mum, did you want to watch Star Wars? And I was like, no way. I said, oh, I was thinking it. So we watched Star Wars, the last one, I don't know what it's called, before the new one that comes out this December. And I couldn't stop laughing. And he was laughing, and I said to him, do you know your mum's a Jedi in training? And he was like, Mum, and I went, we all have the Force. Do you know what the Force is? And then he was laughing because when it got up to where at some point where Yoda came in, who's one of my favourite characters as well, they found Luke Skywalker. Sorry to burst anyone's bubble if you haven't seen that one. I don't know if it was this, I don't know which one it is. They went in a mountain, and inside the mountain I could see, you can't see it properly, there's a disc shape again. There was a disc shape on the floor with a Buddha on it, and the yin and yang sign, I could see it. The way the camera shot, you could hardly not see it, but I could make out what it was. And then they came out of this mountain. They sat on the edge of it. Ray, the girl, is she called Ray in it? Is she Ray? Yeah, Ray. 7 Rays. Ray, and he told her to meditate. And funnily enough, she went in water. But what I was trying to tell my son was, you have the Force when you go within, like a Buddha. And he was just laughing at me. But I was like, but you have the Force. I said, that film's trying to tell you. All the films tried to tell us.
Yeah. planting little seeds.
Yeah, well, I've just been, before I came to do this, I was watching, this is probably going to make some people laugh because I've not seen it, Jumanji,
Mm-hmm.
the newish one where they go in the game,
Mm-hmm.
the computer game. And I just saw the beginning of it where they realise they're not in the same body, they're in an avatar.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh my God, what am I doing in this body? This isn't even me. And I feel like that is what a lot of us are, playing the game in an avatar.
Mm-hmm. Did you get to the NPC part?
No, because I've not. I switched it off before and I thought I'm gonna watch that later.
Oh, it's close to the beginning. I'm not ruining anything.
I'm only at the bit where they have just got in the car and they're about to start the game and realise they've got 3 lives or whatever. So obviously, to me, when I watch films now, I can see it in every film.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's there if you want to see the journey. It's if you can see through it what they're trying to say.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Star Wars has always had, like I've said, E.T. Star Wars has always had a massive. The way some people are like, oh, it's subliminal message and such, but if you actually look now with new eyes, you can see what they've been saying. And even E.T. at the end, when he says to Elliot, he touches him on the forehead where your third eye is and says, I'm right here.
Mm.
And also, with is it the Mandela effect? Mandela effect?
Mm-hmm.
E.T.'s one of them for me,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a massive one for me. And the tree spirit that I filmed, the tree, an orb came out of it or went to a tree. That tree that I filmed has a big bit sticking out, and someone carved in it E.T. phone home.
Mm.
So I know it was E.T. phone home, but they're saying it's E.T. home phone.
Right.
But on the tree, it's carved E.T. phone home.
Right.
So I know it was.
Yeah, me too.
So that's another weird, like, the tree that I like's got that carved on it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so there's just a lot of manifesting going on at the minute. And has anybody been noticing where's time going?
Yeah, time's been very weird lately.
Every Thursday, I think it's Friday. No, is it today? I thought it was Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And when I get to Friday, no, I forgot that right. Yeah, I thought it was Friday today. And then some Saturdays, I think are Saturdays, and they end up being Friday, and I'm like, I just don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, living out of time.
I'm just forgetting what day it is, and like the weeks seem shorter.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of
Like,
us have been experiencing that.
yeah, and it's just, and I can understand where John Binny's coming with his singing because I can't stop making songs up.
Yeah.
And all these it's the creative side, I just feel it very strong. I the force feel
I
it very.
totally agree. And that's part of the divine feminine coming in. That's the right brain. So it's all connected with, this whole divine feminine, the balancing of,
Yeah, I've
you
tried to
know,
say on my channel, not against men like, oh, women are over men. It's just we're rising up to man to be in balance, and there's a lot of nurturing, like I go on about, like Gaia.
mm-hmm,
There's just a lot of nurturing everywhere, and that's why she's rippling out at the minute. And then you've got the 3D going on with the news and everything that's obviously coming out in 3D, which I'm sort of like, people say don't look at that, but I sort of look at both, because if you actually do look at it, it's showing you what's going on with inside you as well.
mm-hmm,
It's like proving I sort of say, as above, so below, as within, so without.
mm-hmm. It's a
Like,
reflection. Yeah.
yeah, as the who Q has said, spiritual war, and if we win up there, we're winning down here. But it all has to be unearthed to bring the change, and that's what I see.
Mm-hmm.
But the people who are fearing it in the 3D, that are not awake, I don't like to say that word now, but that's what we say. They're all arguing, being in anger and things like that, because they're not understanding. It's a fear base of what you've known being broken down. Oh, new things are coming in and everything's being shook up. But we're also being shook up from the inside. And that's why I think people are having not problems, but feeling this, oh God, I was feeling so tired, or I'm looking back at the past and all this stuff's bubbling up, and I'm like, just let it, but then let it go.
Mm-hmm.
And like cut the cords, because I keep saying to people, if you're feeling depressed, it's because you're thinking too much of the past. And if you're feeling anxiety, you're thinking too much of the future.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about the now. So it's like any old relationships, traumas, abuse, anything that went on in the past does not serve you now. You need to let go of it.
Mm-hmm. Make way for the new.
Because I believe it holds its energy in your body. Yeah. And I got told that of someone the other day about I've been healing myself, and I had a lot of pink light around me off a guy called Psychic Bob. I don't know if anyone knows him. And he said, he didn't know what message I was asking. He just brought it through and said, you're healing, you're looking a lot at the past and letting it go. And that's definitely what I've been doing. I've been looking at past relationships thinking, it might not have been good, but I needed that because it got me to where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look back at your past and join the dots, it's like a lot of us talk like this, it's like we made a contract before we came here.
Mm-hmm.
And we asked to have these things in place and have these relationships because it'd shake you up to remember. Mm-hmm. And it'd put you back on the path again, because I see it like we were fallen angels, we fell asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're getting
helps us grow.
Up. Yeah. If you flatline, sort of everything's perfect all the time, you're not really going to wake up to anything.
Mm-hmm.
I think out of trauma, and I think trauma's trauma as well. Some people seem to think it's like, oh, I had this happen to me, yours wasn't as bad as that. But I say, yeah, but if you felt the pain, pain's pain.
Yeah.
Pain's the same.
Yeah, definitely.
So
and it's all catalyst to
people
push
see
us.
sort of like, oh, it was higher, I this happened to me, I did. It's like, yeah, but pain's pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes things happen to people as in a sense of maybe a bigger way. When people say like, I died but I came back,
mm-hmm.
because maybe they needed a bigger jolt.
Right.
And sometimes they're the people who bring bigger things in. But I do have that thinking, we're all doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people who say, oh, I knew this years ago. And I've always been like, it's not a race, it's a ripple effect. There have
mm-hmm.
to be people back in the past that started to flip the domino.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sort of seeing now flicking the domino in a circle so it all goes round and then it drops into one ripple effect again. And then it's coming into where we are now, where it is getting stronger. So I think when sort of people say, oh, well, I knew years ago and this and this, and it's like, but that was needed, because if everyone, I've always said this, if everyone was given the information all at the same time, you'd all be running around like The Purge, the film, like crazy mad people.
Right.
But for what's about to come in the future, I believe over the next few years, the sleeping people that begin to wake up are going to be like what we were like when we first woke up, but we're there to help them, to show them it's not as bad as what you think it is.
Yeah. It's a process.
Yeah, and that's why there's been a ripple of generations that have woke up and not been able to get it out as we can now, because we have the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's faster. And I mean, the internet, the YouTube is trying to suppress truth communities, the things that they've started to put up now. And I've noticed when you go live, they're asking about, is this for kids, or is this, and something's supposed to be coming in December. It's for the 3D that's about to come out. They're trying to shut channels down of saying certain words, as a lot of us know. Mm-hmm. But the internet has made us all be able to link faster
mm-hmm.
and communicate all over the world. So I think back in the day, if let's say even if you were talking about Jesus, if certain Buddhism people were trying to get the word out about love and certain things, it got around by travelling and stuff like that. But now we have the internet.
Yeah, it goes around the world in less than a second.
So to me, some people say, oh, we need to go back to the... Well, maybe we don't need to go back to the old ways. Maybe we just need to bring new ways in, as I say, to bring a new world in. Not a new world order, a new world with a new way, with new solutions. Some of the things back in the past probably are not needed now because there's just new technologies. We can work with technology. A lot of people seem to think it's all AI and it's all bad. It's not all bad. It just, everything has to be in balance. Like someone was saying today, a lot of people have a thing about money, and money's the root of all evil, and I see it as it's what you do with it. And it's like an energy. Some people give because that's their, it's a sort of, I sort of see it as an energy. And it has its own entity, so it's what you do with it.
Everything's like that, can be used for good or bad.
Yeah, it's all in your intentions. So, yeah, it's a ripple effect.
Awesome. Well, let's see if, one last thing, let's see if there's any chakra clearing that you need. Particularly with the Blu-ray for your communications you were talking about. And just have them clear any kind of blockages and have that free flowing so you can draw on that beautiful rainbow love light from source and then disperse it out as you need to. Receive it in and push it out. And it'll come through your artwork and your communications with your family and your mom.
Yeah.
And just benefit you. That's beautiful. Okay, well, that was awesome. We're going to bring you back to everyday awareness. Thank you guys for being in the chat and watching this. We will be back tomorrow night with Eileen for the Power of 8 at 8, and hopefully we'll have a couple of special guests. I don't know if they're going to be able to make it. I haven't heard back from them. But if not, Eileen and I will be here, and we will have a good time. So be sure to check the links in the description box below to head over to DollyDayDream's YouTube channel. Very cool channel. I think you'll like it. If you like orbs, you'll definitely want to check it out. Lots of love and light to each and every one of you. Have a good one. If you'd like to support the work I do, go to paypal.me/UOTF. Thanks. Mm-hmm.